What's up, guys? My name's Timmy, and today is the beginning of something great. I've decided to start doing a Trove modding tips and tricks series where I'm just going to put out a few small videos or short videos with a trick in each video to try to show everybody how to do some of the stuff that I've been able to achieve in Popcorn FX that a lot of people have been asking me about. And also, as I learn more about some of the voxel editing programs out there, I'll share any kind of tips and tricks that may help you guys. Or if any of you all have some tips and tricks that you'd like to share with me, I would gladly share that with the rest of the community, and just basically just trying to help the standard of mod grow and get a lot of you really talented people get your visions out of your head and into the game as best we can. So today we're going to be talking about some animated textures within VFX. As you can see, I've got this little guy here. I just created this animation a little while ago. It's of my neon ninja in game doing a little dance. It's nothing really special, but it just kind of shows you off, shows what it's going to look like once you get it in here. I know that there's a blue outline around him. Please disregard that for now. It's kind of because I rushed into it and didn't take my time, but you all will not have any issues like that whatsoever once I explain how everything works. So let's get started. The first thing that I did was just hopped into game and made an animation. If you all do not know how to do that, I will make another guide for you. It's basically you set up a green screen within the game, and then you record your character doing some sort of animation that you'd like, and then add a chroma key to that, and then convert that to a GIF. And then once you get the GIF, this is basically at the point we're at now. Once you have your GIF, you can use any method you want to resize it, but I strongly suggest that you resize it into a square resolution, something that's perfectly square, because later on we're going to need it to be perfectly square to create a sprite sheet of our animation so that we can import it into Popcorn FX. So basically, I created the animation, I uploaded it to this site. I will post a link in the description for anybody that would like to use this site. It's really great for converting video to GIF and giving you a lot of options on how you want to edit your GIF without having to download any software. So once I had my GIF created, I uploaded it here and resized it to a square resolution, like I said, and then I just saved it to my hard drive. I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again. Once I did that, I went to this site here. It's called Piskel. Now, before I found this site, I was having to make these sprite sheets manually, and it's just really, really difficult because you have to have the model completely centered in each grid space, I guess you could say, in order for the GIF animation to look proper in the Popcorn FX. So this is just really, really, really great to have found this site, and I'm going to show you how to use it. So after you have your GIF saved on your hard drive, you go to import and then browse for images, and then go ahead and find the image that you made. Now mine was named NN Dance Best. So just go ahead and click on that. Now you want to make sure you check this bottom one. It says import as a spreadsheet. Keep your frame size the same. It looks like you may be able to actually resize it when you upload to Sprixel, so you may not even have to resize the GIF initially before you upload it to here. So click next. It will ask you if you want to merge or replace. Always replace, because if you merge, it'll add the animation that you're uploading onto the animation that you had uploaded last. So click replace, click OK, and that will bring your animation into the scene, and you can see how it looks over here in this little window right here. Really nice to make sure everything looks properly. And then you don't have to do anything else to it other than export. Click on export. Right here you'll see your sprite sheet layout options. Now this is very important because of the way that Popcorn FX plays the animation within that program. I suggest that you usually use 5x5. It's 25 grid spaces, so 25 frames is a decent amount of frames for a pretty smooth animation. If you're using an animation that it has higher frames, then you're going to need more columns and more rows, and you can change that right here. If you get into higher frames for your animation, you will need to create custom atlases. And I will probably make a video showing you guys how to do that as well. For now though, we're just going to use the atlases that are already created inside of Popcorn FX. So after you've selected your columns and rows, go to download, and as you can see, it has your 5 columns, your 5 rows, 21 frames, 2560 by 2560. Now that resolution will not work for us because it's not a resolution that is set to the power of 2, but we'll change that once we get into Photoshop. So we'll download that. As you can see, I've already downloaded it once. And then all you need to do is basically import it into Photoshop. Let me go ahead and grab the new one that I just got so I can show you exactly what it looks like from start to finish. Alright, and there is the one that we just saved. Pop this over here, and there it is. Now you'll notice that my Photoshop has grid lines. That's because that I've set it up so that I can see the grid lines, because it's very important for you to be able to make sure that each frame is centered properly where it needs to be. So once you do that, you will, if you want a transparent background, then you'll want to go ahead and just get rid of the background like that. And that is the reason why I have the blue outline around my character in Popcorn FX, because I didn't take the time to really clean up around the edges of all this. And once you have that, you're pretty much set to get it into Popcorn FX, and we'll do everything else from there. You'll have to save it. You need to save it. This is very important. You have to save it as a DDS. There is a plugin that you can get for Photoshop, and I will put a link to that down in the description as well. And just click save to wherever you want to save it. And these are the DDS settings that I found works the best. I've tried several settings, and if you're going to use any kind of textures within Popcorn FX, I definitely recommend that you use what I have here. So if you want, just pause the video for a second and copy down my settings, and then you just click save. I'm not going to save it because I already have one saved. Alright, and then we'll go back into Popcorn FX. We'll close this out, click no. Alright, so once you're in Popcorn FX, if you want to start from scratch, which is what we're going to do in this video, just to show you how to get it set up from the bare basics, then you can just right click, click new asset, and then create a new FX. If you want to use an already established VFX, you'll just have to edit the billboard and some other things, which you'll find out in what we're doing here. So let's go ahead and open this up, and as you can see, this is completely new. There's nothing, there's no textures. It's got the default velocity, everything set up to be completely default. So this is what you'll see if you start a new FX from scratch. First thing that we're going to need to do is change our billboard. Our billboard is where our texture comes in. We'll go ahead and click on diffuse. The diffuse layer is basically where all your colors and stuff comes in. So we'll find the texture that we saved, and let's see, I think I named it in Dance. Maybe not. There it is. And there is our texture. Now when you see it, when you bring it in, you'll notice that it does not look right at all. There's all of our frames just going up, and that will not work at all. So the thing that we need to do next is to get our atlas definition. The atlas definition is probably the most important part of this, and when you're making your animations, you need to consider the atlas definitions, because if you don't want to have to create a custom atlas definition, you'll want to use the definitions that they've already have made in the program. So if you click on, let me show you where I went here, go to VFX and go to Atlas Definitions. That's Trove, Live, Particles, VFX, Atlas Definitions. Inside you'll see that there are some that's called Atlas Def 3x1, 3x2, 3x3. The numbers here are the columns and the rows. So we know that our animation has 5 columns and 5 rows because that's what we set up in Sprixel. So we'll select that one. And now you'll see that we have, instead of having 21 frames, we've only got 1 frame being shown. So that's great. The Atlas definition is doing its job. Next thing that we need to do is go down to our evolver and click New Evolver, and we're going to add a flipbook animation. The flipbook, not flipbook animation, we're going to add a flipbook evolver. Now the flipbook is basically tells Popcorn how to play the frames that you've added. The first frame is designated to 0. The last frame will be 1 less than however many frames that the animation is. So I know that my animation is 21 frames. So I'm going to do my first frame as 0, my last frame as 20. And now you can't see it very well, but we have some movement. And we can't see it right now because we have our velocity going up. And in order to stop that, all we need to do is comment out our velocity in our spawner script. So now it has stopped moving, and we've got a little guy down here. It seems like he's just going so fast, and that's not good. So in order to see him a little bit better, let's go ahead and make him a little bit bigger here. Alright. And now in order to stop all this crazy sped up nonsense, we're going to go up to our layer. We're going to click on infinite, and we want to put 1 spawn count. Okay. And there's our guy. We don't have any crazy nonsense multiple images overlapping ourselves, but he's kind of a little bit too fast for us still. So in order to change the speed, we're going to go back down to our flip book evolver, and we're going to reduce the loop count. We're going to go to 0.75. Now that seems like a pretty reasonable speed. You can raise it or lower it as much as you'd like to get any kind of speed variations that you need for your animation. But there's one thing else, it's kind of bright, so I don't really like that. And you can use this if you want, but for this particular animation, in order to see the colors and everything, we're going to change the billboarding material down to alpha blend. And when you do that, you can see your entire texture and your animation and all your frames playing just properly. So that's basically how it's done to create it from scratch. Another note is to realize that when you save your image, make sure that the DDS image that you save is in a resolution that is in a power of 2. That's 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, all that great stuff. If you don't do it, then it won't line up with your atlas correctly, and your frames will be all off-centered, and it just won't play correctly. And that's pretty much basically it, guys. As much as it doesn't matter how many frames, if I only had 3 frames in this animation, I could still use the 5x5 atlas. I would just have to designate which frames I wanted to be played. So you don't have to fill up the whole entire atlas whenever you make your animation or you make your sprite sheet. But that's it, guys. I hope it helped. If you have any questions or you have anything that you would like to add, please drop them in the comment sections down below. I would like to add that I am not a professional. I just learned this stuff on my own, so I'm showing you the way that I do things myself. There may be better methods, but I just wanted to get it out here in the community for you guys and hopefully improve our community just a little bit. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a great day.